Right, so let's continue and take a look at the conditions for Maclaurin series expansion. Okay, so I have the Maclaurin expansion formula over here, all right, on the whiteboard for easy reference. And now let's talk about the conditions. Okay, there are actually four, and all of these must be met in order for the expansion to be valid. Okay, now let's take a look at the first one. The first one says the nth derivative of fx exists for all n. So this refers to the f prime, f double prime, f triple prime, fn, all of these, they must be well defined. So usually this is not an issue because given the fx, you can differentiate them. Okay, so far there is no such problems with the questions that are given in the exams. Okay, so usually this is a non-issue for the students taking the A-level exams. Okay, now next up, when x equal to 0, fx is defined. Okay, so this is referring to f0 here. Okay, so what happens is that you know the expression for fx, you want to sub in the value of x equal to 0 and try to find the value of y or fx when x is equal to 0. So this is also usually not an issue. However, I have seen questions, okay, that actually ask you, usually it's a 1-mark question, they will ask you, why doesn't this work? Okay, and that is because this condition number 2 is not satisfied. Okay, for example, suppose if I were to ask you, okay, do you think that we could use the Maclaurin series expansion for this one, okay, cosecant x? And the answer is no, due to the fact that for this one, all right, when x is equal to 0, we'll realize that cosecant x or cosecant 0 is actually equal to 1 over sine 0. And we know that for sine 0, the value is 0. So it's essentially 1 over 0, right? We don't have to write that, but we know that 1 over 0 is undefined, okay? Right? It's undefined. Therefore, f0 is undefined, okay? We do not have a value for that, which implies that the Maclaurin series, okay, so the Maclaurin series expansion, I'm just going to short form here, it okay, does not work, okay, for cosecant x. All right, so it's a very rare question, but occasionally such question will be asked in your exams or tests, so just take note there. Okay, so it didn't satisfy in this case the condition number 2. Okay, now let's move on. Right, then over here we have f n 0. Okay, so actually I think we need to add the brackets down here. So it's f bracket n, so all the derivatives of 0 is defined for all n. So writing onto the idea over here, we also have to make sure that the derivatives, okay, all right, f double prime 0, f triple prime 0 can be all defined. Okay, so if one of these are divided by 0, then it will not work as well. Okay, so that is the third condition. Now the last condition, okay, so for some of those who wants to take proper notes, this is f bracket n, okay, 0. All right, so the last one, for the series converges to fx. So this Maclaurin series expansion goes on and on and on. Okay, so it's actually actually has infinite terms. Okay, but it must converge. Okay, so for the Maclaurin series expansion to work, the series must converge. That means when you find the sum to infinity, the series tends to a finite value. Okay, so these are the 4 conditions that needs to be met in order for Maclaurin series expansion to be valid. All right, it's more for knowledge. Okay, they hardly test you all this, but sometimes it's good to know what are the conditions, so that sometimes occasionally like such questions comes out, you know what to do to answer them.